Hello there, welcome to this learning tutorial. This learning tutorial has been created to help the students at Key Stage 3 who are trying to learn how to program using a software called Python. This tutorial follows up from another tutorial that was introducing the Python concept and also introducing some concepts in programming. So in this tutorial, we are mainly going to be looking at using variables. Now in this tutorial, our learning questions are: what is Python? How can I use Python software to create a simple program? Now, we've got three learning objectives. The first one is to continue learning how to use Python software in creating simple programs that display information on screen. The second learning objective is to learn how to create a simple program that uses a variable. The third is to learn some of the rules when creating variable names. Now, the keywords we've got here are Python, print, syntax, and variable, and strings. Now, I'll go through these concepts in this tutorial. Now, before we continue, just if you didn't look at the first tutorial, which I encourage you to look at, I'll just go and cover something here that literally is very important to keep reminding you. We say that Python displays information by using a word print, followed by brackets and speech marks, as shown in my screen. And then we also said that the information to be displayed goes between the speech marks. There is something else also we say that it's very important the syntax is perfect. That is, the style, that's capital P, should never be used. It is small p, the word should be like that. You must use those brackets, you must use those speech marks. Anything else, it will never work. So I'll also show you an example I showed in my first tutorial. I showed you an example at the top that this is really how the program looks like that you've written. It says print hello world. This is my first Python program. That is in speech marks and brackets. Then at the bottom here, you can see how the executed program looks like. Execution is running the program. So that's something we covered in the first tutorial. But please, to have more details, you can go back and look at my first tutorial. But otherwise, in this tutorial, I'm going to be focusing on what we call variables. Now, this is where we are. What is a variable? A variable is a means of getting a program to allow a user enter information in the program so that it can be temporarily stored. I'll repeat. A variable is a means of getting a program that we've written to allow a user to enter information in the program so that it can be temporarily stored. Using a variable in a program allows the user to enter varying information which can be temporarily stored. A variable can enable the program to temporarily store both text and numbers. It doesn't only do numbers, it can do also text. Before we continue, the program we did in our first example you saw in my first tutorial just displayed information. It didn't allow the user to enter information. So if you want the user to enter information, you must use a variable. Now, for example, in my screen here, you can create a variable that asks and allows users to enter their first name. Or you can create a variable that asks and allows a user to enter their date of birth. That is how we could do it. Without that, it could never work. So every time you want a user to enter information in the program, you must create and use a variable. Now, the next stage is to show you actually how do we create variables? How do we actually name them? This is what I'm now going to show you. Now, how to name a variable. This is simple. As you can see on my screen, in this box that literally I've made clear. Actually, I'll even make the box bigger so that actually you see what I mean. This is how it's done. Variable name as one word with no spaces. That's what you write. You put an equal sign, you write the word input, and then followed by those brackets. It is the variable name that you choose based on what you want to do. It's up to you. Normally variable names or even depend on what you want to do. Equals, write the word input followed by the brackets. I've got an example one here. A variable called student name could be written as, you write the word student name, that's the name of the variable. you write equal sign, you write the word input followed by brackets. If you've got another variable it's called school, could be written as school equal sign input open brackets close bracket. Another variable, a variable called first name, you write the word first name, that's the name of the variable, you write equal sign, you write the word input and the speech marks. Now what you need to know, when you are naming variables, give them names related to what they are doing. So if you're creating a variable to allow a person to enter their first name, then call it first name rather than calling the variable X or Z, Y, Z. It doesn't make sense. So make sense to your work by giving the variable names things that relate to what they're going to be doing. So I'm actually going to show you some examples of actually how we use Python to do that. Now before I go on my screen here, before I actually go to Python, I want to show you something here. An example of a Python program that uses a variable. I have got the word print. What is your name? First name is equal to input. Now that doesn't make sense for some of you. If you look, what does this program do? I want actually to show you this in Python so that you figure out what is going on. But actually, before we go, just to make sense of it, this program displays a message on screen. As you can see at the bottom, it shows you what a program has happened when it's being run by a user. It creates a message, what is your name? That came up as a person called Harry. Then put in their name called Harry. That first name equal input open bracket close bracket is the variable. That section we put to allow person enter their name. Then after the person had entered their name, it says print hello first name. What it did, it showed the word hello and then also displayed what was entered in the first name section, which was Harry. So can I now say, I'm now taking you to Python to show you how we create a variable program to make it easy. I know some of you may be listening to me already confused. Don't even worry, just relax. I'm now going to Python to show you. Now when you open Python, like I said in my first tutorial, you will see this screen. I also need to emphasize, this is not the Python screen that you use to write your program. Always go to File, New, and then when this comes up, this is what you're going to be using. Once again, I need to close that to say, when you open Python, this is what comes up. Please do not write your program in this screen. Always go to File, New. When this screen comes up, you know that's what you're going to be using to write Python. Even to advise you, close the other one. So we are now ready to write the Python program. And the first thing we are now going to do is to actually help you understand what we were doing. So the program we are going to write is going to ask somebody their first name. So the first thing it's going to happen is to display a statement that tells them what's your name. So I'm going to say print bracket. I'm going to put the message that I want to come on screen. So what's your name? What is your name? So I'm putting that on my screen, and I'm now going to say I have to finish off this by my close speech marks and close bracket. So remember, that is what I've said will display a message, what's your name. Can I even save it? Before you do anything, always save your name. I'm going to call this practice 2 because I've already got a practice 1. I'm going to call that practice 2, but remember, always save the files what they've asked you to do, or save them things they are going to be doing. But for now, I'm actually just doing practice. So can I actually run this program to show you what's happening? I'm now going to press the F5 button. Now see what's happening. What is your name has come up. Can you see? I want to write my name. There's no other way I can do that. Even if I write my name, nothing really. I can say my name is called Tom. Really, that does nothing. Can you see? I've actually shown you it's really doing nothing. So I'm going to close that, and I'm now going to go back to what we had before. Now to be able to do this, I'm now going to create a variable that allows me to create a space for getting me to write my name. So I'm going to go back to my program. My variable that I'm creating is going to be called first name. I'm calling it first name because it's easy for me to remember. So first name without space. And variable, remember we said the way we write variables is, I'll go back to our tutorial that I wrote for you. Remember, it's you write the variable name equal sign, then you write the word input, close open bracket, close bracket. That's what we are going to be doing. So I'm now going to display what we are doing here so that at least you are happy. Now secondly, I also need to emphasize what we are doing. We're creating a variable to allow a person enter their first name. So my name is there, first name is the variable name. I'm now going to write equal sign followed by the word input, open bracket, close bracket. Now in those brackets something will be coming to allow me to do it. So I'm now going to say file save, see what's going to be happening. So I'm running my program to show you really the steps that are going on here. So F5, can you now see what's your name? I'm going to write my name is Tom. Can you see it has now replied Tom? Can I actually say something? I'm going to put something that allows you to see more what's going on. So in my program, I'm going to write another thing that once you've written your name, it should say hello Tom. So I'm going to say print for me, that is display on screen. Remember, anything to display Python, you have to write print in bracket. I'm now going to say hello. Remember, anything for displaying, you have to say the word print, open bracket, put what you want to see on screen. I'm going to say hello, and I'm going to now close off those comments. Hello, that's my statement I want to put. I want to put a comma, always follow that with a comma. I want to put my variable name to allow me put everything the person wrote when I asked them their first name. If I do a mistake and I don't write the variable name as it is, it will really be the nightmare for yourself. So look here, print, open bracket, speech marks, hello. That's what I need to say, hello first name. So if a person is called Tom, it should say hello Tom. So now I'm going to save what I've done, and I'm now going to run my program and see what's going to happen. Can I even close everything so that at least you see everything from scratch, so that it makes more sense? So I'm now going to press F5. Now I'm going to put my screen here so that you see exactly what's happening. The program is asking me, what's your name? I'm going to tell it my name. My name is called Tom. I'm now going to press enter. Look, hello Tom. Do you really see what's happening? So it's really now responding. Before it couldn't respond. I can do something more. I'll go to hello. I can change that to anything. I can say hi Tom, hi first name. So if I say file save, I'm going to go and press F5 to show you. You don't need to close the bottom screen. You can keep using it. All it does, keeps using the same screen to display. So I will say F5. So what's your name? I'll say my name is Jack. Now press enter. Hi Jack. Do you see the computer is responding to me? That's why when you run these programs, you think, wow, it's weird. How does the program respond to me? That's how people do it. So that's how you chat with a person on a mobile phone. So please, I'm now going to stop here. What I've done, I've got for you some exercises. Ask your teacher to show you some exercises that are going to take you step by step in creating a Python program that uses a variable. So what you need to know, when you are creating variables, they must be given sensible names. You will have to keep using my guide notes in the exercises you are going to be doing so that you don't make mistakes. So one thing I need to emphasize, there's something I'm going to show on screen to deal with the exercises that you are going to be doing. Now, the way we are going to be doing the exercises your teacher will show you, I've done this step by step. So what I will do, I'll tell you to create this program, then I tell you to save it, then I go on, I tell you create this program, then I tell you to save it, then I tell you to run it, then it builds on. So as you build on, you actually start seeing, the first time I tell you is save the file, then give it another name, like step 15, save the file from task 3 as a new file called task 4, then add the following extra code. So what you are doing, you are adding something to your program. For example, if I actually go back to my program that we were actually doing in the first instance, so that actually you can see how these things are done. So if I actually show you briefly here before I actually close off this tutorial, I have actually got here, if I create another variable called surname to allow me enter my surname, so equal sign input close open bracket and close bracket. Now that is another variable I've added. You don't need to start everything from scratch, but I wanted you to save these files different names so at least you see what's going on. So now if I save this, that extra variable I've created will allow me to enter surname. So file save, then F5 to run this program. Now look what's happening. I can even close this completely so that at least you see from the beginning. So I will now put this on screen so that you see clear what's going on here. So it is asking me what's your name. I'm going to say my name is called Sarah. So I'll repeat. So I did so quickly, I need to repeat this. So I'll go back to F5. I will go here. What's your name? My name is Sarah. So I'm going to press enter. Hi Sarah. So can you see what's happened? I did something wrong here. I forgot to put a message that asks me my surname. So if I say here first print open speech marks, what is your surname? Because really, as you remember, the program needs to be told what to do. So I need first tell the program to ask me my surname. So really, at the moment, I had known, told it to say my surname. So if I save that, I'm now going to run the program again. It's good I've done a mistake so that you can see the mistakes you can do. So what's your surname? What's your name? My name is called Sarah. Actually, I should have said in proper English what's my first name, but it's simple, you know what's going on. So I'm going to press enter. Hi Sarah, what is your surname? I'm going to say my surname is called Smith. Can you say Smith? Actually, I would even have gone further. Hi Smith. Can you see? So I can say actually here print open bracket speech marks. I can say hi, okay, maybe nice to meet you. That's what I want to be displayed. I'm going to put my variable called, we always put a comma after my variable first name, then followed by the variable called surname, then I need to close the bracket. See what's going to happen. So file save. So speech, I'll need to close this completely so that you go to see what's going on. So I will now put the screen here for you to see clear what we have now done. So my name is called, this time I change my name is called Kate. So press enter. Can you see hi Kate? What's your surname? My surname is called Bolton. Yep. So I'll press enter. Nice to meet you, Kate Bolton. Can you see? Well done. Now you can now see you can combine more than one variable. So we've created here a simple, beautiful program that really shows you how we can connect things. So I will stop here and I ask you to return to your work do what your teachers ask you to do, and I will look forward to seeing your wonderful programs that use variables. I will see you in other future tutorials. Thank you for listening and hope you've learned something from this tutorial.